views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. This is Brother Mike, HardcoreChristianity.com, back on the radio, ready to rumble. Today's Bible study. Satan's best friend has died. Hasta la vista, buddy. Wow, what a life. Hey, would you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on if they want to know who Satan's best friend is? I'll give you all that information today. Be happy to do it. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. On the website, HardcoreChristianity.com, we have all of our services listed. We have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights, 7 p.m. Healing, teaching, deliverance, preaching. We have it all on both services. We always have the moving of the Spirit in every service. That's the purpose of the services, unlike at your church or the mega church. If you go to the website, you'll see all of our services, and you'll be able to hit the PayPal button and send us another donation. Thank you for all the money you've sent me over the years. I've been on the air 15 years. You sent me all the money to renovate the Healing House. It is done, and it looks gorgeous. It is now up and running. The Deliverance Center, you sent me the money for that. We paid cash for it. Thank you. That is also up and running and is looking fantastic. Thank you so much for calling my wife, Sister Karen, to sell your home here in the Phoenix area. And thank you for those 5-star reviews you gave her on Zillow. God bless you. Thank you for your donations and your prayers and your love. May God richly bless you. Satan's best friend is now dead. Wow, what a life. Here it is. Hugh Marston Hefner, born April 9th, 1926, died September 27th, 2017, was an American businessman, magazine publisher, and playboy. He was the editor-in-chief of Playboy magazine, which he founded in 1953. He was also the chief executive officer of Playboy Enterprises, which is the publishing group that operates the magazine. An advocate of sexual liberation and freedom of expression. Hefner was a political activist and a philanthropist in several other causes and public issues. I just read you his obit. And I'll tell you it was something else. He was born during the Prohibition era in Illinois. He grew up in Nebraska. He was the first child of Grace Carolyn. She was a teacher. His dad, Glenn, was an accountant. They were Midwesterners. He also had a younger brother, Keith. He died last year. Hefner's mother was Swedish. His father was German and English ancestry. And they were Methodists. Hugh, the firstborn son, was brilliant, had a huge IQ, very smart man, and served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 1946. He was a writer for the military. He graduated from the University of Illinois in Champaign, bachelor's degree in psychology, double minor, creative writing, and art. Interesting. He was so smart he earned his bachelor's degree in a little over 2 years. He started out working in 1952 for Esquire magazine, and he decided that he could do better. And that was an understatement. He took out a mortgage on a house. He got a bank loan for $600. He raised $8,000 from 45 other investors. His mother gave him $1,000, and he started Playboy magazine, which at that time was called The Stag Party. And his first published issue came out in December, Christmas time, 1953. And guess who was in it? Of course, the legendary Marilyn Monroe. She was chock full of lust demons, had a miserable life, and was either murdered or committed suicide. But he was her first pinup, and the Magazine sold 50,000 copies in a short order. And he loved Marilyn Monroe so much, he bought a burial plot next to her at Westwood Village Memorial Cemetery. In 1992, he paid $75,000 for it, and that's where they buried him a few weeks ago. In 1949, Hefner married a Southwestern University student. Her name was Millie, and they had 2 daughters. And before they got married, just before the wedding, Christy had a sting of conscience. She was very hurt because while Hugh Hefner was in the military, she cheated on him. She had an affair while he was gone. And folks, this is where it all started. And it started here, and hell came to the world. Millie, I think was her name. Her name was actually Mildred. Didn't know it at the time, but she had unleashed Satan on the United States of America, and it spread literally across much of the planet. Millie is the one that started it. Hefner was completely and totally devastated that his wife was cheating on him. He couldn't believe it, and he never got over it his entire life. And out of guilt, Millie allowed him to have an open marriage. She didn't do it, but he did. And he had other girlfriends and other lovers. And this is where Hugh Hefner developed his satanic, deep-seated disgust of women and his sense that they were commodities. They were products. And Satan sent him powerful spirits of lust. He picked up other demons from women he was having affairs with. Mildred didn't do anything about it because she felt guilty over cheating on him before their wedding. They got married anyway. Well, it didn't work out. They were divorced in 1959. He just would not stop cheating. And by then he had turned into a sex addict. You know the rest of the story. He's an American icon. But the devil used this man probably more than anybody else in the United States. I can't say that for sure. There's other debatable nominees. But Hugh Hefner, under the supernatural power of Satan, introduced America to pornography. He's the one that opened that door, and that door spread all over the planet practically. And what Hugh Hefner did in the 50s is ravaging families and homes here in America to this day. He was the door opener to divorce, to sex addictions, to group sex, whores, prostitutions. All that stuff existed before him, absolutely. He didn't invent it by any stretch of the imagination. But he was the one that Satan picked out, handpicked him, to bring it commercially to the planet Earth and to America. He is the one that has opened the door to more ruined families, broken homes, more addictions, more people infected with demons, more people with lust disorders, and more people who are hedonists, addicted to sex, drugs, and rock and roll than any person that's ever lived in the United States. This was one of the most horrible people that ever lived on this planet, in spite of the fact that he had a lot of philanthropic work that he did. He did a lot of good things over the years. That was only an aside. Satan used him to get exactly what he wanted and exactly what he needed. Adultery and fornication smeared everywhere. And now, to this day, internet pornography is so easy to get. that grade schoolers now are developing sex addictions on a routine basis. Sexuality and sensuality has swept our society. Teachers are sleeping with grade schooler and junior high students. Junior high, grade school, and high school students are sleeping with their teachers all over the United States. Pornography has invaded every home, and you can pick it up now on a handheld device. It's so easy to get. You click, and you're on hardcore pornography. So clear and so crystal that a gynecologist would turn his eyes away and say, whoa, that's too much. And it takes 3 clicks of a third grader on their handheld device. No problem whatsoever. If they've got software put on their device to block it, they just simply use somebody else's cell phone or somebody else's computer. No problemo. Bang, they're on it. They're picking up demons. This man spread demons, lust demons, all over the United States. Isaiah chapter 14, in my opinion, describes Hugh Hefner. It's not talking about Hugh Hefner technically. It's actually talking about the Antichrist to come in the future. But boy, this prophecy about the Antichrist sounds exactly like Hugh Hefner when he died. Quote, hell from beneath is moved to meet you at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you, even all the chief ones of the earth. I raised up their thrones and all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say to you, are you also become as weak as we are? Have you become like one of us? Your pomp is brought down to hell. Gaon is the Hebrew word there for pomp. It means pride or arrogance. Your pride is brought down to hell, and the noise of your voiles, that's the Hebrew word nebel. That means your proclamations, your utterings. The noise of your vials. The worm is spread under you, and the worms cover you. Remah is the Hebrew word for worms there. It means maggots. Did you know there's supernatural, spiritual, some kind of maggots in hell that cover people and torment them? Did you know that? I'll tell you one thing right now. Hugh Hefner is screaming in hell like nobody you've ever heard scream. I mean, he's down at the lower bowels of it, right near the lake of fire, and he is screaming right now. He is begging. He's yelling for his mother, his dad, anybody he knew, anybody who knew that was a religious person or a spiritual. He's screaming right now at the top of his lungs, screaming in the fires of hell, screaming, raging in pain, screaming with everything he has, and nobody comes to help him.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.